Dad, put a pin in this one. I oftentimes will think of something and then I'll spin and look toward Darius and I'll say, let's write this down for a topic at a later date. But normally that's like late June in the summer when there's not a whole lot going on. So maybe we just do it today because today is the later date.
I was going to say it is late June, June 20th.
And maybe it's a couple of weeks from now. I don't know. You just mentioned Byron Russell. I remember when the Wizards brought him in, that at the time I was kid, teen, whatever I was, I thought, oh, they're bringing in the guy that Jordan hit the shot over.
Yep.
To this day, when you mention the name Byron Russell, he was a pretty good little 3-and-D guy. He was a pretty good little player in the NBA, had a decent career. The first thing anyone thinks of, he is synonymous with Jordan pulling the trigger and hitting the shot over Byron Russell when he pushes off a little bit and hits the game winner against the Utah Jazz, right? 1998 finals, I think it was. Who are the players in sports that are remembered for one terrible moment? I think that's a great topic.
That's a good one.
Like, because he had a career. Byron Russell had a legitimate NBA career. I don't think he was ever an all-star.
He was a good player.
Tell me if I was wrong about that. But say Byron Russell's name to anyone and ask them, what do you know about him? They would go, oh, he's the guy on the Jazz Jordan hit the shot over because he was falling. I got pushed a little bit. My goat shoved him. That's fine.
Mm-hmm.
But he was falling as Jordan hit a game winner over top of him to win the finals.
By the way, I've done the Byron Russell thing forever. It's Bryon.
Yes. His name's Byron, though.
I know, but it's like it throws me every time. Like I go, is it Brian? Is it Byron? Like I never get that right. So I was just now looking him up is my point to see if he was an all-star, see what he did. And I did the Byron thing. And I'm going, where's Byron Russell? What happened to him? Tells me every time. Back to you.
File that away. Players who probably shouldn't be remembered for one bad moment, but are. Like when you say the name Jeffrey Mayer, everybody knows.
Right.
When you say Tony Tarasco, is that the first thought? That he was the outfielder.
He's putting up a Jeffrey Mayer
on the warning track, camped under a ball trying to catch it. I don't think he's as well known for that moment, but maybe.
I mean, you know the all-time example. The guy was a really good player for a long time. Bill Buckner. Known for nothing else.
Correct.
Like literally, I'm going to list one thing he's known for, and it already comes to mind. 86, the ground ball. Like, again, a good player for a long time. Nobody knows and no one cares.
Bill Buckner, Byron Russell. There's got to be others. We can talk about that at some point. But yeah, Game 7, enough, by the way, with the what if, these finals had a bigger city, and what if these finals had a better media market? The TV numbers would be better. How good has this been?
It's been great. I love it.
Shai Gilgeous-Alexander wins an MVP as the next great superstar in the league. Tyrese Halliburton, who was on Team USA playing internationally this past summer, is one of the rising stars in the game. We've got really good young firepower, 2 ultra-competitive teams. By the way, the Thunder aren't just a nice little team. They are one of the best teams ever, statistically, in the way of win margin and dominance. And they're getting pushed to the brink by a Pacers team that doesn't really seem to have any reason to be doing it. Like, think about this, Danny. 50 wins for the Pacers now, 38 wins, 18 wins behind the Thunder this season, and had a 30-point lead over them last night. Nobody thought this was going to happen.
Yeah, and it's the likes of Andrew Nembhard, T.J. McConnell, Obi Toppin on at least his second team. There may be another stop there that I'm not even remembering. It's not superstars that are doing it. It's not nothing but lottery picks. You know, their guy, Benedict Mathurin, has had one excellent game in this series, but was largely not a factor last night. It's awesome. This is kind of the whole point of sports to me, is these sorts of things. There is an overdog. As you said, the juggernaut. They haven't done it yet. And it's not like have won 3 titles in the last 4 years or something, very Golden State Warriors. They're in the middle of a dynasty. Everyone thinks this is the beginning of their dynasty, right? With the talent they've got, nobody that matters for them is over 25.
Well, it is the beginning. Whether they win a bunch of titles or not, nobody knows. But this is the start of their several window. Years of them being one of the best teams.
And here's the 4th seed in the East. That was pretty good this year. Yeah. That to me was the underdog in every series they've been in so far.
By the way, that's
win away.
Basically what you say about the Pacers. Now the playoffs have been different, but they're pretty good. It's a very solid team. I like them. They're a good team. Then the playoffs happen, and they cannot be killed. You cannot drive a stake through this team. Matt in Centerville has a great addition to our list of the Byron Russell players who are remembered for one really bad moment. Matt, what's up?
Hey, how y'all doing?
What's up, buddy?
All right. Hey, it's Leon Lett for me, right? That guy ran the ball back in the
Don
snow
Beebe, dude.
into his own touchdown. It's crazy. I thought of an honorable mention while I was on hold, and I think it's Robin Ventura, who's the guy that charged the mound and got beat up by Nolan Ryan.
And Nolan Ryan put him in the woodshed.
You know what? I might even accept Robin Ventura. because really good player. He was actually an all-star player. But I do think when you say the name Robin Ventura, who ended up being a manager, the average person's first recollection, like if you're you've got to write 100 words on Robin Ventura, it's the comma, whatever you fill in, then the comma. It's not Robin Ventura, longtime quality third baseman. It's Robin Ventura, who you know is the guy that Nolan Ryan punched in the face and made bleed.
Put in a headlock by Nolan Ryan. Yeah. So it's interesting with Leon Lett. My first thought was Super Bowl, Don Beebe chases him down and takes the football away.
He was talking about the
field goal where he ran the wrong way.
So he had two of them.
He had two.
Yeah, the most popular, most famous or infamous play for Leon Lett is actually the one where he's celebrating early and
it's the Don Beebe
ball
play,
out of his hand. But yeah, can you be on the list twice? I think we're building a good one, though. Russell, Buckner is who we would name the list after.
Right.
Because he actually was, and I didn't even know this until actually semi-recently, the last handful of years. I never knew how good of a player he was. I just thought he was the goofball that committed the error. Ventura, Lett, those are good ones. Dan's in Ashburn on Grant and Danny. What's up, Dan?
What's up, guys? Hey, back in, I think it was 78, Super Bowl 12, Jackie Smith was wide open in the end zone. And Jackie Smith's a Hall of Fame tight end, wide open. Roger Staubach hit him right between the numbers, and he dropped it. Would have been the game-winning touchdown.
So that one's before my time, and if you were to say the name Jackie Smith, I wouldn't have been able to pull that moment, but I wouldn't have been able to pull anything. So it's very possible. I don't know if you are able to go there, Danny, but if you tell me that's synonymous with him, because that's kind of the idea. Great player, but synonymous with a moment that makes it seem like you weren't actually that good. Miguel in Stafford, what's up?
Hey, how we doing today?
What's up, buddy?
I think one of the moments they actually share the most when it's the finals between the Lakers and Philadelphia, NBA Finals, where Tyronn Lue fell on the floor and Allen Iverson stepped on it. That was one of the best shots I ever seen, and he made that shot too.
So the idea being Tyronn Lue, who's become an NBA coach, who had was
a good career, good player.
Yeah, I would say not on the level of some of the other guys we're talking about, but you're right. Like, that's a solid career. You should be remembered for being really good defensively. And part of the reason, by the way, he was on Iverson, I don't know if he was the Iverson whisperer. I wouldn't go that far necessarily, Danny, but he was absolutely a excellent defender. And they had their best shot when he was on Iverson because he ran around with him and made a bunch of plays. And now he's known for basically Iverson hitting the shot and sunning him about as bad as you can in game.
Because if the test is, what's the first thing you think of? That's it.
But if I asked you today, before this show started, Tyronn Lue number one memory, what would you say?
Allen Iverson stepping over
I think
in the
so.
finals. That's it. Yeah.
I think that's how you get on this list.
People don't remember him as a wizard or as like a rotational point guard or as like a pretty nice little player or a coach even. It's like, isn't that the guy that Iverson stepped over in game one of the finals? Yes.
He was my guy, by the way. Mm-hmm. He was a wizard before that happened. I'm pretty sure. If I have my dates right.
You got it right? Yeah.
That Iverson step over him came after I was in my room with loose leaf paper clocking how many assists Tyronn Lue had to Chris Whitney or
Lakers first. How about
Terry
that?
Davis.
I would have got that wrong. I would have thought Wizards first too.
Lakers then Wiz. So what year was that finals?
So that's
earliest 2000s, maybe the 90s.
Must be 2001, right? Is that 2001? Somewhere in there? 2001, something like that.
Let's go to Miguel and Clinton on Grant and Danny. What's up, Miguel?
Hey, how you doing, guys?
What's up, buddy?
I just wanted to put one on your list. Is the Monday night game, Brian Bosworth fight against Bo Jackson.
Oh, come on, dude. Because Bosworth was this, like, the next big thing, the next, great linebacker, face of the league kind of guy, the 80s style, Jim McMahon style headband, flat top, big, nasty SOB, and Bo Jackson. We were robbed, by the way, of so much Bo Jackson time, but the greatest natural athlete I've ever seen, or I think has ever existed, knocks him into next week for a touchdown. And the legend of Brian Bosworth, little pinprick in the balloon, and it went flying away.
Definitely a thing, although I would just say, I don't think that play gets mentioned right away with Bosworth. I think him being a gigantic bust does.
Yeah.
Or like the neck roll or something. Like, to me, that's not the lead. I think that play is certainly the blooper of his career, for sure. Maybe I'm picking nits, but you get what I'm saying, where I think the first thing you have to think of when you think of a player is the snap that they want back, because it's a date which will live, forever for them in regret. Let's go to Doug in Potomac on G&D. What's up, Doug?
Hey, this is a great list. I have two. Scott Norwood, the Buffalo Bills kicker.
Yes.
Missed Super Bowl 25, the game winner at the end. And then, unfortunately, our own Freddie Brown from the Hoyas, who had he had a good career at the Hoyas, and he's
a good player.
He's only known for the throwing the ball to UNC at the end.
He passed to James Worthy.
He's not on his team.
Not on your team.
Norwood is perfect. And I've seen documentaries of those Bills years, and it still haunts him. But even the name Norwood still in the Bills building or with that fan base, it's a pejorative. And I feel horrible for the guy. He did have a good career. By the way, because of the documentary I watched about those Bills and how it affected Scott Norwood's life after the fact, it has changed the way I view players who go through these terrible moments, Danny. Did you see the LSU-Arkansas College World Series game the other day where LSU came back?
Yes, the poor kid, the poor left fielder for Arkansas. Oh, my God.
I mean, he was sobbing, being helped off the field by his teammates, his managers trying to control him, and he was inconsolable. I mean, he was devastated immediately, understandably. He misplays. He kind of falls as he's trying to make a catch. The ball goes off his back. LSU comes around to tie the game. They eventually win it. He's got to live with that forever, and I don't know how you do. But an Arkansas baseball fan, despite him being a really good player who the manager says they don't get to Omaha without, there's probably a really good chance eventually that it's the only thing that he'll be remembered for, or the number one thing, no matter how good his career is, short of winning a national championship with a couple of big hits or something. Let's go to Charles in the district on Grant and Danny. Charles, we're putting together a list of players who are always going to be known for one terrible play, even though they had good careers.
Grant and Danny, if I say Mark Sanchez, you automatically would know where I'm going with it. So I don't know how far you would classify him as far as being as good of a player, but the butt fumble has to go right up underneath of the guy that the list was created after.
Yeah, you ask Mark Sanchez how often the butt fumble gets brought up to him. I've heard him talk about this on some interview he did, where he basically said it's like a typecast actor. Like, you can't walk down the street with someone talking about that one role you played with Jason. Is it Jason Richardson? Who? Oh, no, that's a basketball player. Jason Richards? Who played George?
Jason Alexander.
Okay, Jason Alexander. So Jason Alexander's an actor. He's in Shallow Hal and a bunch of other stuff. Every single day he's walking down the street, people are doing George bits, right? Mark Sanchez can't go get lunch without someone bringing up the butt fumble. That's how you know that play. He got to 2 straight AFC championship games.
Yeah, had a really good start to his career.
He was the 6th pick in the NFL draft. He was okay. I mean, he wasn't great. His performance here notwithstanding in his one game, former Redskins great, you sleep.
Handed off to Adrian Peterson that time.
90-yard touchdown. But I bet you in the next 24 hours, somebody in public will say something to Mark Sanchez about the butt fumble. Let's go to Robert in New Haven. Hey, Robert.
Hey, guys. How are you, man?
Hey, buddy.
I've got one for you. I'm surprised someone hasn't already said this, but Chris Webber, timeout 95.
I think he overdid that. I overcame it. I think his career was so great in the NBA that if you were to say, oh, no, he called a timeout and didn't have one, everyone would go, he pulled a Webber. Everyone remembers that.
Yeah.
But if you say today, remember Chris Webber? I would say one of the best passing big men ever. Or those Kings teams were awesome. So I would not start with the timeout.
Because I would, and then like the comma or the second thing is one of my favorite players ever, dominant power forward of this new modern era, who was incredible, should have been here for his whole career, but wasn't. Sacramento, those fun teams that could never beat the Lakers. But I think the first thing, the criteria is always so hard, right? Because if you go, is it the first thing you think of, or is it what they're known for?
Well, it's the only thing you think of, maybe, is the better way to put it.
So for Buckner, for example, the guy whose the list should be named after, right? The Buckner list.
Yeah, this is our Buckner list.
You have to basically go, and by the way, did you know he actually had a good baseball career?
Byron Russell.
That's kind of
Byron Russell is known for Jordan hitting the shot over him. Did you realize how good of a player he was? I think Leon Lett's probably the same way.
Yeah,
so yeah,
nasty.
Maybe is it the only thing they're known for? Might be age thing too. You're older than I am by about 10 years. I was not old enough to remember live the timeout. Like I didn't watch it in real time.
I did.
I knew in my early career with him being on the Bullets, this is the guy that called the timeout at Michigan that everybody talks about constantly. And that was what he was known for.
Mm-hmm.
I just think he kind of lived long enough to
had a Hall of Fame NBA career.
Yeah, and move on after that. Let's go to Jeff in Ashburn. What's up, buddy?
Hey, boys. How we doing?
What's up, buddy?
My take is Ron Artest. Not a play, but what he did in Indiana, appropriately so. We got finals going on. Ron Artest, Meta World Peace, that guy, Malice at the Palace. I don't know what else you're going to remember him for, aside from being just a nut job.
Perfect.
I think totally right.
Perfect. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Ron Artest was good, by the way. A Meta World, whatever we're calling him now, I don't know. But when he was Ron Artest, awesome basketball player.
Yes, indeed. He shares like one of the distinguished honors of having dunked on me in high school.
It's true.
I mean, not many people could say that.
Try to tell that story today to a producer around here, and they'll probably
just leave the room.
Right as you're starting to launch into the story.
Leave the room.
Travis in Arlington, you're on the Fan. We're putting together our Buckner list of good athletes who we don't remember for anything other than their worst moment.
Hey, guys. Thanks for taking the call.
Hey, buddy.
First-time caller, long-time listener.
Appreciate you, buddy.
Awesome. If I can give two, if that's cool. I got one, which is another victim of Michael Jordan, Craig Elo. He's been kind of posterized forever.
I'll prove your point. The only thing I know about Craig Elo, and I'm not exaggerating,
shot a reload, good,
is the shot Jordan hit when he jumped up and fist pumped a bunch of times. It's the only thing I know. If you tell me he was a really good player,
he was.
I'll take your word for it. I don't know him for any other reason.
Awesome. And then the second one, I guess it kind of depends on what city you live in, but Ernest Biner's fumble in the playoffs was pretty devastating in Cleveland.
Oh, before the drive.
All right, the late, great Marty Schottenheimer. That one got you. You might have a Super Bowl otherwise.
On his way into the end zone, fumbled at the 2, entered, then John Elway, 98 yards down the field. Denver goes to the Super Bowl.
I don't need to tell people in D.C., Biner was a dude.
He was awesome.
Really, really good player. All right, that was fun. You can take that off of the list because we just did it.
Strike it from the list.
That is called our Bill Buckner list, the athletes known for their worst moment who actually were pretty good.